Hey guys, it's Aaron here, and today I'm going to be doing another Powers Guide to Gunpla. This time around, I'm going to be doing a little bit of tutorial of how to strip paint off your Gunpla, as I was actually coming back to doing more customization work towards my custom Estrella, as I did replace the legs and paint them with a little bit more brighter red, but when I was comparing it to the top torso, I kind of forgot that the top arms are a little bit more different shades of red, plus a lot of overpainting over the years of the same type of paint. I basically was going to go do and start stripping the paint off, but then I kind of got this side idea. It's like, you know what, let's make this a little quick tutorial so I can show people how to remove paint off your Gunpla, simple and easy, so that you can be able to do it on yourself without doing too much damage to your Gunpla. Because there's one thing I've learned over the years, and some things I kind of wish I learned in my first years instead of having to learn them during my middle years, is two things not to do with your Gunpla. I mean, technically you can still do it, but the first thing's here, and here are like two different weapon parts, are the what's called or the shield and GN launcher. These right here are stuff that used to be painted a lot. You can still see a little bit of the paint there with the gold and a little bit of the black on the launcher and the gold on the shield. And then what's it called and heavily sanded. Usually this leaves usually leaves the plastic like a little bit damaged and like scraped and all that scuffed. And what's it called? It doesn't look too good. Now granted, with the different types of grit, sanding grit, you can make this smooth, which is no problem at all, but I kind of ran out of those smoothing sanding grits. I need to buy new ones. And then there's the other thing, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us have probably done as an accident mistake, is use paint thinner, and specifically, hopefully it hasn't happened with a lot of you, but happened to me. I used lacquer paint thinner, and I was trying to remove because I kind of oversprayed one of my earlier customs, which was a custom tactical strike. But because I oversprayed it too much of the spray can black, the parts were kind of too stiff and unmovable. So I was trying to figure out how to remove it, and sanding wasn't working, and I was not able to remove the parts. So I had the idea of using paint thinner that I had lying around, because I was working as a painter during that time, and it's like, this works to get rid of paint. Yeah, it does, and also leaves plastic into like a mush, and that destroyed that custom or the torso for it, because that was the chest piece for my strike. And that's something I learned not to do, and I'm assuming this has probably happened to other people as well. But I did get taught later down the line what to do when you need to remove paint. So starting off, what we're gonna need is the part you're gonna depaint, which we're gonna do another GN launcher right here. As basically I did paint this, but I kind of wanted to strip all the paint off and want to bring it back to its original gray coloring. So we have a little bit container, and then we'll have what we're gonna use for it: isopropyl alcohol. Granted, some people would use a little bit more higher percentage, like 90% or whatnot. Mine's at 70, but it should still do fine regardless. A brush, because you're gonna need the brush to basically scrape off a little bit. Some towels, usually paper towels usually work fine, and some tweezers, because you're gonna need tweezers to help you out. So let's move this a little bit more down, and also a little bit mapped. Also, I also recommend to have like a little mat or whatnot, which I do have right here, which I got a new mat. So in case anything happens, nothing spills out and you don't have like a little bit of mess and whatnot under it. So we're gonna now we're gonna pour a little bit of the isopropyl, just enough where it'll be able to submerge the parts. Granted, I don't have a lot. I need to buy a new one of this, but the general idea is the isopropyl is gonna melt away the plastic. It's gonna melt away the paint, remove it, and not the plastic. So you're just gonna dump it there. It's going to let it soak in for just a little bit. So for other people, they usually say it's either going to take like a couple minutes, like 10 minutes or so, or what's called a couple hours. You don't really need to do that. Actually starts to come off pretty easily, as it is very strong alcohol. Just a little bit dip down in there for a little bit. And usually with the brush, start taking it down, just grab it with tweezers, so just be careful. Or just grab it as is, as it starts to remove pretty easy. Because the isopropyl alcohol actually starts to remove it. You can see right there. Plane's starting to remove. Should run a new brush. Just dip it back in there for a little bit. As it is removing. And this is what you're going to use to basically, it's going to help you remove plastic. It's going to remove all the paint, and it's actually going to revert the piece back to how it should be back in its original form, which is always good. As you can see right here, it's working well for this little attachment piece that usually attaches onto the shoulder of the Gunpla. Actually, right there, it's removed a lot of the paint. You can use the brush right here to scrape off a little bit more, especially for the indentations where you probably won't be able to reach it, but you can see still there's still a little bit of paint left, so dip it back in there. Now let's reach for the bigger piece right here again. Now granted, this is going to be a little bit much more heavy, but you should be able to move it. A lot of this paint should be easily removed, and it works for almost any paint because the isopropyl alcohol is meant to strip away a lot of it. It's then again, this is used a lot for a lot of nail polish and whatnot for people who tend to paint their nails or anything else. It's also very useful to use when you want to remove paint from your model kits or anything else, and usually it does the job well. You're probably going to be doing this a couple more times, dipping it just to make sure it goes through a lot. Actually, right here, it's actually stripped away a lot of the paint from before. And the brush normally is going to be, and you're normally going to use the brush to get into those crevices. That you can't usually get to normally. And you're probably going to be doing this every once in a while, just until all the paint's gone. And usually it works. No problem at all. I will say, mindful, do wear a mask and whatnot when you do this. What's called, I'm wearing a regular, not regular mask, like one of the little white masks to protect my face, because this is alcohol, so it is going to stink and smell. So just be careful on that point. I can see right there, all the paint's starting to come off with the brush helping you a little bit more. Dip it back in there for a little bit more stuff just to get a little bit more clearing. Let's go to the other little piece here too. And generally speaking, the paint should be gone after all this. Probably going to have some leftover stuff too, but with the brush, like the little indentations in there, just go in there with the brush. It's going to help you get rid of it. Granted, this is a very old brush of mine, so I'm probably going to have to buy a new one just to be a little more thicker, but it's doing the job that it needs to. And overall, that's pretty much how this actually works. It just strips up the paint. You're just going to be doing this every once in a while. You're going to be doing this for like a little bit, dipping it in and out, sanding, cleaning it with the paper towels and whatnot. But eventually it will get rid of the it will get rid of the paint. No problem at all. And overall, yeah, eventually you're going to have clean parts back to how they used to be. And after a while, after they fully dry and whatnot, you're going to have your plastic pieces back to how they used to be and ready to paint once more, whatever color you're going to be doing. And that will be it for this little tutorial video. And overall, that's actually pretty great. Once they're cold. And then my next video, or at least the next Pyro'S Guide to Gunpla, is either going to be me building a model kit, which hopefully probably be soon. That one either might be live stream or just going to do a video just me basically going through and just cutting out the runners and just basically showing off how to do just basic doing model kits for beginners and whatnot. Or I'm going to be teaching you how to do a little bit of paint job of how paint should be applied. Though it's going to be a different process, as there are different types of painting. There's spraying and whatnot. There's regular just brushing with brushes, Gundam markers, spray paint, spraying them. So I'll probably do multiple videos of painting as there's multiple ways to do it. But yeah, that right there is how you remove paint from your model kits without having to damage the model kit. Without damage the parts, tools, weaponry, and bring it back to how they used to be. Granted, there's still going to be a little bit more of the paint and whatnot. That's why you will leave it a little bit more overtime into the isopropyl alcohol, so until it fully removes it. But it will be removed eventually. Just got to do more of the brushing, more of the dipping. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. Now, I will say, if you did enjoy this little bit of tutorial video, consider dropping like, share, and comment. I always do appreciate it. I'll be doing more of this how-to and helping out tutorials and whatnot with Gunpla in future videos. And as always, folks, have a nice day. This is Pyro'S signing out. and I'll see you guys on the next one.